I wanted to make you sad. That's why.
Yeah, gee, thanks. Is that my birthday present from you?
It's the male in me that likes the irony. It's a long, long, arduous journey. Only get run over by a car or a truck when you get here. It's horrible. But, if you want to live in the wild, that's what can happen, right? There's traffic.
Yeah, I don't think the wolf really thought about that.
Look both ways before crossing. Well, that happens on my trip, as a matter of fact. In Hawaii, as we talked about the other day, there's farms, right, with cows and
Right.
chickens and roosters are everywhere. But there were little bighorn sheep, and they were hanging out near the hotel. And I took some really good pictures. You don't want to get too close because they got horns. And I was like, I don't want to get stabbed on anything. But the mama was going to cross the street, and it's a pretty busy road near the resort. And the two little babies were following behind. I know. The first one goes really quickly. The second one was pausing by the side of the roadway, looking across at the mother and brother or sister, and saw a car coming, but waited.
Really?
Yes. And then the car stopped, and I guess the little sheep picked up that was going to let him go, and then he crossed quickly and joined the
Well, I have a question for you, Ken. Why didn't you go out there and kind of halt traffic just in case that car didn't stop so that the family could reunite and not get hit?
Well, I was too busy taking pictures. As a matter of fact, I documented what I just described. I have a picture showing one tiny sheep on one side of the road and one on the other, and the mama. And I wasn't paying attention. I was just like trying to take pictures. I know it was pretty wild to see the little babies in the wild with their mother, but I was also from a distance. The car stopped. The car could see.
Well, thank goodness.
People drive the road there. I think they're familiar that these sheep hang out and they just chew on the grass all day. It's a nice life, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Just stand by the side of the road, chew on the grass, and you take a nap a little while later, and it's pretty leisurely. All right, we got a lot to come on the show. Coming up next, I'll be talking to Greg Totten. He's executive director of the California District Attorneys Association, and he's going to talk to me about the smash and grab cases, the shoplifting, Prop 47. Can you prosecute these organized retail theft rings? How difficult is that? How much do the laws that we have in California and the lack of prosecutions play into all that? It's coming up next. Johnny Ken Show on KFI. Deborah Mark with the news now.
The sweatpants are washed. Now you're ready for Thanksgiving.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, always sunny.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Guilty. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. 3 white men in Georgia have been found guilty on several charges for the murder of an unarmed black man out for a job. Ahmaud Arbery's father cheered when a guilty verdict was read for the man who shot his son to death. Judge Timothy Walmsley then ordered the dad removed from the courtroom.
If you feel like you need to make a comment or otherwise demonstrate with respect to the verdict, I do ask that you step out of the courtroom now.
Arbery was killed in February of last year. Defense lawyers had argued their clients thought Arbery was a burglar and were just trying to make a citizen's arrest. Defense attorneys for the man who recorded Arbery's murder say they plan to appeal the guilty verdict.
We've worked very hard on behalf of Roddy Bryan, and I felt that he should be found not guilty. So it's a big disappointment.
Bryan was found guilty on 6 of the 9 charges against him, including felony murder and false imprisonment. The news is brought to you by Rooter Hero. LAPD Chief Moore says there are several reasons for the recent crime sprees.
Moore says ghost guns have flooded the streets, but there are other factors like Prop 47, Prop 57, and ED 109, all of which Moore says need a redo.
Individuals who committed violent crimes, who are habitual in committing residential burglaries or other such serious matters, and who go to prison and then come out and continue in their attacks upon a community, should be out of that community.
Moore says he's putting a task force together to focus on the smash and grabs and the follow-home robberies. He also says more foot patrols and horse patrols are very effective deterrents. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
LA is building lots of housing in an effort to end homelessness. Mayor Garcetti says claims that building is going slowly and is too expensive are untrue.
With $1.2 billion in construction funding, we've more than tripled our annual production of supportive housing units from about 300 to 1,000 a year. And we're going to come in early with more units for a cheaper price than we promised the voters.
Garcetti says LA will have started construction on 43 housing projects by the end of the year. He says one of the projects being built in Skid Row is the largest in the city's history. A new state law banning the sale of gas-powered leaf blowers and lawn mowers has a company in Murrieta claiming a commercial replacement doesn't exist. McCabe Landscape Construction President Melissa McCabe-Navaroli says the law could destroy licensed landscaping companies.
I legitimately cannot service lawn care clients using battery-operated equipment. That's just something that will not be feasible.
The State Air Resources Board is using a gas leak blower for an hour amidst the same pollution as a car driving from L.A. to Seattle. The board will decide the specific regulations next month. The ban on new sales starts in 2024. The CHP will be on the roads in full force this holiday weekend to show thanks to those giving safe driving a chance and citations for anyone else.
The Mexican enforcement pretty much has all hands on deck.
CHP officer Jose Barrios says it's astounding how many people ignored ride-sharing, Metro, or a designated driver during the same Thanksgiving enforcement period last year from Wednesday through Sunday.
We made 868 arrests for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And we also had 33 people died on the roadway.
He says none of those people was wearing seatbelts. CHP will be out looking for people not wearing seatbelts, speeders, and distracted or impaired drivers. In L.A., Corbin Carson, KFI News.
And the annual dinner in the park in Pasadena might look different again this year, but it seems to taste the same.
Volunteers have been working to pack boxes of fully cooked food for people in need to come by and pick up.
What we've heard from the community is that the price of food has gone up, the price of hosting a wonderful meal for their family has increased, and so they're incredibly grateful that there's a resource available so they can still celebrate.
Union Station Homeless Services Dana Bean says, due to the pandemic, the event has been moved again to takeout only. She says they expect to serve 4,500 meals between last week and this week. In Pasadena, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
It is slow on the 91 in Carson.
This is the eastbound side with delays backing up, leaving the 110 freeway. And you remain on the brakes and stretches all the way to Madison in Riverside. Let's head out to Diamond Bar with Mike O'Brien. KFI in the Sky, sponsored by Injury Attorney, SuperwomanSuperLawyer.com.
E7 North, that is grand. Right on the merge with the E60. They finally cleared the accident there. North 57 is already tied up from Orange County way back to Imperial Highway. E60, that is pretty well slammed through Hacienda Heights Industry there. And even before you get that far, a very tough stretch from East Los Angeles out to Rosemead Boulevard. Now, if you're heading out on the 210 eastbound knows that that's pretty well slow almost all the way from Pasadena all the way to Rancho Cucamonga. And if you're continuing to the high desert, 15 northbound, that is slammed now from the 210 up to the 138. Injured in an accident? Visit SuperwomanSuperLawyer.com. Mike O'Brien, KFI in the Sky.
It's tough as you travel on the 14, making your way northbound, delays leaving the 5 in Santa Clarita. You're on the brakes and stretches looking a lot better once you make your way past Soledad Canyon Road. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Angel Martinez.
Are you at that point where you know you need to restore most of your teeth, maybe all of your teeth? Cunning Dental's new permanent teeth in a day will change your life dramatically. Their zirconia teeth look completely natural and feel like real teeth, but they're even stronger and more resistant to cracking, chipping, or staining. You'll bite and chew like you used to. You can smile in photos again. You'll have more confidence. You'll be more attractive. No more hiding your ugly smile. Cunning Dental has been rebuilding smiles for over 52 years, and their new teeth in a day procedure is the best option for restoring all your teeth, and again in just one day. Now get $1,500 off your procedure. Expires November 30th, and they offer no money down payment plans on approved credit. Use your dental insurance by the end of the year, or you lose it. Call Cunning Dental now for new permanent teeth in a day. You call 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE. Call 888-640-SMILE. Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit a store near you. Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited plans. Spectrum Internet required. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/2021. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
The KFI Financial Report brought to you by Bay Alarm. The Dow closed down 9, S&P 500 up 11, NASDAQ up 70, and the average price of a gallon of regular gas in California is $4.70.
With a range of commercial fire and security solutions, Bay Alarm can protect it all with just one call.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy tomorrow. High 70s to around 80 for Metro LA, upper 60s to around 80 in the valley, upper 70s in Inland OC, low to mid 70s in the IE. Right now 65 in Dana Point, 75 in Anaheim, 72 in West Hills, and 75 in Sherman Oaks. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Deborah Mark.
Show, Kfi Am 640. You're listening live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. That's what you want to do. You can't get rid of us. We'll go with you every single place you go. Just bring the iHeartRadio app. Coming up later on this hour, well, leaving no stone unturned, the California Air Resources Board is now coming after your gas-powered leaf blower. This could affect many in the gardening business. We'll talk about that with one such operator after the news at 4:30. Coming up next hour, well, the head of Child Services in L.A. County, Bobby Cagle, has announced that he's resigning. He's leaving the post at the end of the year. Can't say everything's his fault, but it's been an atrocity with several young boys who have been killed at the hands of their parents and their live-in boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever. And now we also have foster parent situations where they're killing children. It's been an atrocity in that department. I'll be talking about that next hour with Ryan Claypool, who knows the story all too well because he's been involved with his families and the victims in a number of these cases. Now we return to, of course, the big topic of the week, the smash and grab organized theft rings, which struck most notoriously up in Northern California in the Bay Area. In Walnut Creek, they hit a Nordstrom's. I now understand that the value of the merchandise they took there was $200,000. There was a big ring of these thefts going on in San Francisco's Union Square, which has a number of high-end stores. It's a big shopping district in that city. We're hearing $1 million worth of merchandise was taken there. People not only blame the laws of the state, but also prosecutors, including the district attorney there, Case of Bowden. I will play some audio from him because he did announce yesterday that he was charging 9 people in those thefts of Union Square with felonies. Right, because we're all talking about Prop 47 and the problem with misdemeanors dealing with theft cases. We'll get to all of that, but first we're going to talk to Greg Totten. He's Executive Director of the California District Attorneys Association for his take on this story. Greg, welcome to the John and Ken Show.
Good to be with you today, Ken. Thank you.
First of all, how much do you think that the laws and the prosecutors around the state play into what appears to be these very organized retail crime theft rings?
Well, I think we have to acknowledge that this is not happenstance, that these surge crimes are occurring. These are not erratic or isolated events. Bottom line, when we stop enforcing crime, we get more of it. When there are little to no consequences for crime, we get more of it. In the case of Gaston, the District Attorney of Los Angeles County, he is not enforcing the laws that both the voters and the legislature have approved. And so it's not surprising. The crime in L.A. County is going up. More to the point, though, of these surges, they're fueled by a perception among criminals that there are little to no consequences for theft. And unfortunately, it's a perception that has a strong basis in fact. We've taken retail theft and converted it by statute, converted it by legislation and by voter initiative into a very low-level misdemeanor offense for which there are literally little to no consequences. The first people that figure that out are the criminals themselves, and they see it as an opportunity, and they're exploiting it. I know a number of policymakers are expressing outrage, calling for severe punishment for these people, but make no mistake about it. They're the last ones who should be surprised by such conduct because they have approved, they have supported, they have facilitated legislation that has weakened California law to the point that we're really turning the state into a place of criminals first and victims last.
Yeah, well, some of the media that covers this likes to say, oh, but you know, if you look at the statistics compared to last year, the year before, robbery's not really up that much. These are just isolated incidents that you can focus on, but not believe that it's a big trend.
Well, in terms of reported crimes, we rely largely on both California Department of Justice statistics and FBI statistics, and those are reported crimes. And one of the things we know about many retail thefts involving small businesses as well as large institutional retailers, a lot of the thefts that occur in those businesses go unreported. In part because the perception is nothing gets done, and it is actually viewed as more difficult for those retailers to deal with it in reporting than just to ignore it and move on. And that's why we're seeing a lot of these stores in heavily impacted areas shut their doors or lock so many of their goods, so that it makes it more difficult for consumers like you and I to get access to.
Now, Newsom came out before he took off from Mexico, Governor Newsom, and he's got this retail crime task force where he announced that they recovered millions of dollars worth of property and they've got 700 investigations. Do you know anything about this task force, and is it doing any good about this?
Well, I think it is. There is a task force that has largely been operated under the authority of the California Highway Patrol that has gotten funding to do so, that works with locals. And anytime you gather law enforcement together to go after crime, you're more effective in solving the crime and ultimately successfully prosecuting it. The problem, however, and the Highway Patrol is a great law enforcement agency, has a great reputation, but they are largely responsible for protecting motorists and highways and freeways and not enforcing retail theft law. And most of the enforcement of retail theft is done by local sheriffs and local police departments in conjunction with district attorneys' offices. So task forces are a good thing, but again, it really comes back to what does your law authorize? And our law has been largely neutered. Then you combine that with what the state is doing, releasing